Uh-oh.
Okay, we'll start with this. It appears that the show is going to go on for Jake Paul. Jake Paul is going to be taking on Mike Perry, where initially he was supposed to be taking on Mike Tyson. He's fighting a Mike of another kind
In late July next month.
and to my surprise, Puerto Rico's own Amendia Serrano will be fighting. She's not going to sit out the rest of the summer. She's still en route to a Katie Taylor rematch. That's still happening, but she's going to be keeping busy with America's own Stevie Morgan. Fighter with a respectable record, 14 wins with 1 loss.
13 knockouts.
35 years old, like Amendia Serrano is 35 years old, based on the tail of the tape, somewhat bigger, a little bit taller, a little bit longer than Amanda, and on some level, she can punch. She can punch, as most every fight she's fought, she's won by way of knockout, save the one she lost.
Isn't it dangerous for Amanda to take on a fight like this and a fighter like this en route to a huge payday with Katie Taylor?
Does this fight not jeopardize that one? Young Amendia sports a professional record of 46 wins with 2 losses, 1 draw, 30 knockouts, having never been knocked out in 48 professional bouts. Likes to live dangerously.
I see what it is.
Amanda can't fight somebody. She can't stay busy with somebody at 126 because she was already en route to 140.
She can't go back down now.
She's got to stay there, and she's got to keep busy with who's there. And even if Stevie Morgan has a respectable record and a respectable punch, which she does, she's never fought somebody like Amanda. Those girls that Stevie's been fighting are miles away from an Amendia Serrano.
Amanda!
It's a big step up for Stevie. From fighting the kind of fighters that she has been fighting to fighting somebody like Amanda, undoubtedly on short notice. Remember that this is impromptu.
Stevie Morgan fought 8 times last year. You heard that right. 8 times, and she's already seen action 2 times this one. Once in January, then again in May.
She suffered her first professional loss in October of last year opposite the ring veteran journeywoman Calista Salgado, and you will notice that Calista has losses in the double digits. Stevie didn't take it lying down. She managed to squeeze in about 4 more fights last year. You heard that right. 4 more fights after that loss to Calista, all of which she won by way of knockout, then 2 more this one. 2 more fights this year.
How could she squeeze in that many fights in that amount of time?
Well, I think it's noteworthy that she was able to do that, but I also see how it happened. The quality of competition. I mean, these are not girls on the level of an Amanda Serrano. Many of those fights didn't go past the first round because Stevie knocked those girls out.
She's coming off of 5 consecutive wins, 5 knockouts.
It's against pedestrian level competition. I mean, it's admirable that she was able to fight that much, that often, and still rack up that many knockouts, but make no mistake, it does have everything to do with who she was fighting. This is a considerable step up in class for a fighter who's seldom ever gone 10 rounds.
Stevie Morgan.
From what I can see, the vast majority of her fights don't make it past the first round or the first half. She's only ever actually been 10 rounds once, just once, and that was the fight that she lost.
You want to pay attention to that.
Because even if Stevie Morgan has a respectable record and a respectable punch, a respectable knockout percentage, that's over pedestrian level competition, and she herself is not used to going past a certain number of rounds. She could gas out.
Whereas with Amanda, not only does Amanda have a respectable punch, one of the most respectable punches in the entire sport, but also one of the more respectable work rates that Amanda can throw punches and bunches from the opening round to the final round against top-level, top-shelf competition, like Katie Taylor, like Erica Cruz.
More proven fighters than Stevie Morgan.
So perhaps Amanda can wear her out.
Then why'd you say Amanda's living dangerously? Why'd you say that this fight could jeopardize the Katie Taylor fight?
Because even in a fight that you win, and even in a fight that you're winning, you could get cut.
It hurts your hand, God forbid. Even in a fight that you win, there's wear and tear, and injuries can happen. That's what I mean when I say that she's living dangerously. She's gonna fight Stevie Morgan next month, then Katie Taylor in November.
Barring unforeseen circumstances, illness, or injury.
You know Amanda. Amanda's not a safety-first fighter. She never fights a safety-first kind of fight. Every fight, she tries her best to take it to her opponent. So that's what more or less leaves the door open for bumps and bruises, cuts and scrapes.
That's why I said she's living dangerously.
Her and Katie stand to make a fuck ton of money in their rematch. This fight, in some ways, jeopardizes that, so she's got to take it to Stevie Morgan, but be careful.
Set to go down late next month on the undercard of Jake Paul versus Mike Perry. We'll talk more about the fight as the fight date approaches.
In men's super lightweight news, Top Rank has managed to win the rights for the Devin Haney versus Sandor Martin purse bids, and apparently they were the lone bidder.
Matchroom didn't bid.
Didn't bother. The winning bid was $2.4 million. It's a 70-30 purse split, with 10% of the overall bid, $242,000, kept as a winner's bonus, meaning Haney will get $1.5 million and Sandor Martin will get $600,000, in the neighborhood of $600,000, if the fight takes place.
Why wouldn't it?
Because perhaps Devin Haney was expecting more money. I wondered about this. I wondered what would happen and whether or not Matchroom would host the show or Top Rank would host the show. Because when Top Rank signed Sandor Martin, I knew they're not signing him with the intention of turning him into a breakout star in America. He's from Spain.
He neither has the grassroots following here in the United States or even the style to become a breakout star in this country. No, if they signed him, it was a strategic signing, a way to get at the WBC title. That's what that was all about. That's what that is.
It's a way to bring the green belt over to their side of things, and it appears, at least momentarily, they have succeeded, as the rights to the fight will now go to Top Rank, provided that the fight happens. If it doesn't,
then the title is forfeit.
We don't yet know how Devin Haney is going to proceed. Is he going to go through with this fight, or will he vacate the WBC title and maybe move up to welterweight?
Why would he do that?
Well, look at how he reacted to the news. He took to his social media and stated, "Wow, Matchroom, nasty work."
What's nasty about it?
From where Devin Haney is sitting, it's bad optics that having done as much business with Matchroom as he's done, they didn't even bother to put a bid in to try to win the rights to the fight. They didn't try at all.
Should they have?
My honest opinion? No. Devin Haney's not one of their fighters. He's not signed to them. He doesn't have a commitment to them, and they don't have a commitment to him. The pendulum swings both ways. This fight is not a big fight. It's not a cash fight. It's not a fight that promoters are climbing over each other to promote.
What, does he feel betrayed?
If he does, should Matchroom have felt betrayed that he didn't re-sign with them after the Jojo Diaz fight? Should they have felt betrayed that he wanted to move forward as a free agent and not make a commitment to them? Should they feel betrayed now that he's a free agent, that he still hasn't made a commitment to them? Once again, the pendulum swings both ways. I saw some of Devin Haney's supporters reacting to the news that Matchroom didn't place a bid for the fight. A Twitter user that goes by the name Jay is back said, "People came to your platform when you barely had any fighters, and you don't even got the decency to pay for the guy's fight? Snakes, man!"
That's bullshit.
It costed Matchroom and DAZN millions upon millions of dollars to bring Devin Haney to their platform.
He didn't go to them out of the kindness of his heart, out of his own decency. He went there because they offered him the most money.
And honestly, it was more than he was worth at the time. It absolutely was, because Devin Haney back then and now was still not and is still not that big a draw yet for you to pay him multi-millions every single fight.
For any fight from a Linares fight to a Jojo Diaz fight, those were not big fights.
Veteran boxing scribe Stephen Kimothy said it best. Purse bids are oftentimes the most honest gauge of a boxer and a fight's value. Nobody is tied into minimum guarantees.
Guarantees they have to honor per a contract.
And Devin doesn't have one. And all licensed promoters can bid whatever they think the fight is worth. Honestly, I wish there was more of this.
Why would he say that?
Because the fighters and their teams are never realistic about the kind of money they're supposed to be making. They almost always want more than they're worth. If you ask the fighter and his team, it's always supposed to work out to where they make the most money. Always, even when fiscally, it doesn't make sense.
This is not a big fight, but you're supposed to pay big money to do it?
Stephen Kimothy continued, yeah, I'm not apologizing for thinking boxers should not get paid $1 billion a fight. I get it. They're putting their lives on the line, but here's the thing. They chose to do this. They understand the risks, and they should understand the business. That's the blunt truth. If that hurts your feelings, we'll wipe off the tears with your pom-poms.
You fucking cheerleaders.
Steve Kim said that.
Well, most of it, he said, but the last part was me, as you would have to be a cheerleader to think that $2.4 million is not enough money for this fight. You understand that if a promoter comes in and puts up more money than that, well, now you're entering into the realm of pay-per-view.
You understand that, right? That if the winning bid was $2.4 million, Matchroom would have had to bid well in excess of that to ensure they get the rights. So what are we talking about? $3 million? $4 million for a Sandor Martin fight?
Do you remember that's what happened 2 or 3 years ago with Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos? Triller bid a whopping $6 million, more than anybody else, way more, to win the rights for that fight. But to do it, they were going to try to do it as a pay-per-view.
They put up way more money than Top Rank and way more money than Matchroom, but you have to remember, whatever you put in, you're trying to get it back. And the only way to get it back when you put up that much is to put it on pay-per-view.
So what was Matchroom supposed to bid on this? In excess of 2.4? What, 2.4 million isn't enough?
It's not enough for Devin Haney, who's coming off a loss. I understand what the circumstances were, but I also understand that marquee value is not fixed. And it's not an exact science.
He's not in high demand right now. His stock isn't high.
This is not a betrayal. This is business, in the business sense of the word. You're not signed to Matchroom. They don't have a commitment to you. And while they are willing to do business with you, it has to make sense. Not just for you. It has to make sense for them.
And this doesn't.
So that people who wouldn't pay $1 more for a chicken sandwich at McDonald's could tell you that Matchroom is betraying Devin by not overpaying for this fight.
You wouldn't overpay $1 more for a chopped cheese sandwich at the local bodega for you to tell them that they should spend millions, literally millions, that they won't get back for this fight. For a fighter they don't even have under contract. If they did, I could see.
But they don't, because Devin didn't make a commitment to them, so why are you expecting them to make a commitment to him?
Win the fucking fight.
Stop acting like you're Julio Iglesias. Go in there, have a good showing, win the fucking fight, and you can get at a bigger bag. It's as simple as that.
It's probably better that Top Rank got the rights to this fight, because if Devin wins it, then they can make a fight between him and Teofimo Lopez.
Stop asking for the moon and the stars, because you're not delivering the moon and the stars, and win the fucking fight. So after this past weekend's big upset, Eddie Hearn told reporters that he could make a Devin Haney versus Liam Paro fight in Australia as a WBC and IBF super lightweight world title unification fight after Paro beats Subriel. Paro may have to face IBF mandatory challenger Hitchins Richens, who immediately after that fight, in so many words, expressed his interest in facing Liam Paro. He didn't have that same interest or that same energy for Subriel Matias when he had the belt. Hell, I remember Richardson saying that he didn't want to go the IBF route because of the 10-pound rehydration cap. They don't let fighters rehydrate over 10 pounds.
Oh, but that doesn't bother you when Liam Paro's got the belt, right?
Not the point. It seems that, at least briefly, Eddie Hearn was bouncing around the idea that he might make a Haney versus Paro fight. And that fight can still be made, but Devin has to hold up his end of the bargain, take care of business on his end. He has to beat Sandor Martin.
So don't be a pretty little princess. Take the fight, do the fight, win the fight, and there's a bigger bag at the end of the rainbow.
Liam Paro is there. Liam Paro, who said, I've got a target on my back, but I want everyone. I've had 25 tests, and I got 25 wins. I just took out the boogeyman. Now I'm the captain, so come and get it.
Do they want it?
Hitchens and Hitchens says he wants it. All of a sudden, now that Subriel isn't champion anymore, Michelle Rivera, who recently signed to Dimitri Salita Promotions after leaving the PBC, he says he wants it.
Maybe Devin did too.
But now, Devin's not at liberty to take a Liam Paro fight without it costing him something. It could cost him the WBC title if he doesn't honor his mandatory. The only one of these guys that actually has a claim to fighting for the IBF title, it's Richardson Hitchens.
In Richardson Hitchens' last fight with Julio Lemos, maybe you guys forgot, but that was an IBF final eliminator to crown a mandatory challenger to the IBF title. Richardson Hitchens was not committed to fighting for the IBF title. In spite of that fight, he wasn't committed when Subriel has the belt. Now he's saying that these people have got to see him. Oh, now they've got to see him?
Now you're committed. Richardson Hitchens knew what he was doing. He knew that stylistically, Subriel Matias's come-forward style and volume punching, as crude as it might be, it's a nightmare for a pure boxer. He had a nightmare with Julio Lemos, who's a smaller man.
But he's still a pressure fighter. Emphasis on pressure fighter. A come-forward aggressive volume puncher. He had a tough time with that guy. To a lot of people, Richardson Hitchens didn't win that fight.
Right.
So when you think about a Subriel Matias fight for Richardson Hitchens, yeah, he wasn't going to win that fight either. He would have got worn out. Julio Lemos came very close to wearing you out. Subriel Matias would have took you out. But Subriel isn't champion anymore. And that's why all of a sudden you're piping up and you want to fight for the title.
Because you figure, stylistically, a fight with Liam is more winnable than a fight with Subriel. But is it? Is it really? I didn't forget what Liam Paro did to Montana Love. He knocked him out.
Montana's a pure boxer like Hitchens. Richens is a pure boxer like Devin Haney is a pure boxer. There are grades, there are tiers. Some pure boxers are better than others, but Liam Paro has seen that style before.
What won Liam Paro the fight with Subriel Matias is what wins most boxer punchers the fight against pressure fighters. Boxing and punching, moving,
Alternating.
a balanced approach. Balance. Little bit of this, little bit of that, all in the moment, whenever it's needed.
That's what won him the fight. That he didn't spend the whole night trying to get away from Subriel Matias like a pure boxer would. He fought him off in spots. He took it to him in spots.
And created space, used the ring, moved around in spots. That's what he did against the pressure fighter. What he would have to do with a pure boxer is be even more aggressive, more consistent, more often within the round and in the fight. As that's how you deal with a pure boxer. Pure boxer wants to fight a slow, controlled fight at a slow, controlled pace. You can't let them.
You have to do to them what Subriel was trying to do to you. That's how you get them to unravel, to come apart at the seams.
You take it to them, whether it's a Montana Love, or a Hitchens and Hitchens, or a Devin Haney. That's how you win.
And I'm not going to underestimate Liam Paro this time. It's entirely possible that a strong boxer puncher, a durable one, can tweak things a bit, make that adjustment, that you'll have to be more aggressive with Richardson Hitchens than you were with Subriel. With Subriel, you had to box and punch.
With Richardson Hitchens, you have to fight. Make it a fight. We don't know who Liam Paro's fighting yet because he just fought, but that's what you have to keep in mind.
That's it.